This is your radio operator, Doug Smith. We're going to bring you a piece of that green cheese for sure.
The SubGenius Hour of Slack.
You're on the air.
What is a crime against the state? I got a little pink slip in the mail that said that last time I went in for a checkup, they found a used condom in my ear canal.
Oh, dear.
And I cannot explain, except for maybe some of the stuff that's being broadcasted could be, metaphorically construed as getting
effed in the ear.
Yeah.
I've heard references to I've heard my show compared to such things.
Well, no,
in totally different ways too. Some make it sound like an act of violation, and others make it sound like an act of love.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yours is a more form of subliminal seduction rather than overt rapery, which is what I guess happened to my. It's actually in part of my brain.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just hoping that the storm makes it go away.
Yeah, the storm will make everything go away in time.
Hello, Bob, and I'm so happy to give my personal testimony. 50 years ago, I was a freshman in high school, and that happened May 10th, 1941. I accepted Bob as my personal savior, and he's never let me down since. I'm a retired teacher, a widow, I've had cancer and all kinds of stuff, but he's always by my side. Thank you so much, Bob.
Now, give you a little bit of background. Back in the year of 1953, when Bob was he was merely the greatest salesman who ever lived, Bob discovered that there was a conspiracy. And I don't mean like the conspiracy that killed JFK or the Freemasons or the Satanists or anything like that. Oh no, this is the biggest, most horrible conspiracy in the world. The conspiracy of plain, ordinary, normal human beings. Jehovah One, this monstrous space alien, came down and seized Bob up in the spirit and told Bob that since time began, there had been this conspiracy of normals stealing away the slack of all the weirdos, the misfits, the disbelievers. And so Bob, with that in mind, founded this great church of the SubGenius. It was not founded on a rock like some more popular religions, but founded on a shifting, sandy beach of hypocrisy. Because where is any good religion without hypocrisy, friends? And so Bob started this do-it-yourself religion, a disorganized religion, you might say, a non-organization for non-joiners, which makes it kind of hard to recruit people if you think about it, because every SubGenius, by definition, is completely different from every other SubGenius. There is no such thing as a typical SubGenius. If any two of them are alike, one must die. The only thing that any of us really have in common besides the love of Bob is that we have nothing in common with the conspiracy of the normal people.
Jehovah has given you slack. How long are you slack? Very slow. How long? I just love that. How long are you slack? Uncommon benefits. How long are you slack? With power. The inheritance of everlasting slack awaits. But how long are you slack? 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 The inheritance awaits. Greatly desired. Fullness and fatness and fullness and fatness and I'm the man. Slackness. The soul of the lazy man desires. Slackness. How long are you slack? You need to go on and possess slack. The people were very slack where they should have been slack. They were slack over and over again. Slack. That they're slack. They should be slack. How long are you slack? Slackness. Comfort, content, confidence, and assurance. Too slack to slack. Behind the slack. Behind the slack. Following their blow. That was behind some of the slack. How long are you slack? Go forward. How long are you slack?
Actually, I'm coming up on the 5-year anniversary of this show.
Oh, it's been
It's hard to
5
believe.
years?
It's hard to believe. Yeah, in February it'll be 5 years.
Well, that's funny. We just did the 25-year anniversary of the Puzzling Evidence show.
Tell you, time keeps moving on.
And they officially declared themselves extremely famous in the third hour of the show when everyone had fallen asleep, except for Dr. Howell, who continued to talk because it was important.
Yep.
The others in the crew, Philo and Stang, just didn't
That's a
think it
fellow
was
who
that
can talk.
important.
Well, Dr. Howell snores in romantic poetry recitations.
Yeah, snores and Milton and Shelley and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, and we'll hear the rhyming snores of Dr. Howell as we tune into that 25th anniversary Puzzling Evidence show, which I was honored to attend, just as I was also honored to attend their very first show in June of 1982. When it was Bob Nelson's show on KPFA Berkeley. And we'll hear tapes of that very first show as they were played on the latest show of December 7th, 2007. We may also be hearing parts of recent Radio Patapoo from our Amsterdam Devival Tour and a season in Hell with John Hell of Pirate Cat Radio, both with Dr. Howell and other special guests. And we already heard some preaching from the SubGenius Church Devival, which happened to be in an old church in Baltimore in November, and yet more of the collages of Norel Preff and Fernandinand Lemur shall we hear. And as we already did hear, we'll hear more of Dr. Sinister's radio synesthesia from WCSB Cleveland with Lonesome Cowboy Dave in it. But first, let us join Puzzling Evidence and Dr. Howell and Gary Gebrogfran at KPFA Berkeley as they await Dr. Drummond and myself and try to ascertain just which year this is and when really is the 25th anniversary of the show.
It's an emotional time for all of us here at the show.
June
It was June.
2008, the 25th anniversary of the show.
No, it's, well, actually it would have been June, it's past us now, June 2007.
Oh, this year.
This year.
Oh, it already
Yeah,
happened.
it already happened.
Then
And I
there's no
mentioned it a
point
couple times
in
during the
planning
show.
for it.
But this is the
You
official
missed it.
anniversary of the show.
It already happened, and
25 years
there's no point in doing anything of a celebratory nature, except to reflect on 25 years of fabulous broadcasting on behalf of the Nameless Mission. And we're waiting for Ivan Stagg to come to our
Drummond,
studio
Bishop Joey.
with Dr. Philo Drummond, Bishop Joey of the First Church of the Last
Good thing
Laugh,
Michael Pepe's not here.
and perhaps some mystery guests. So, what a wonderful time awaits us. But perhaps you are confused because you're tuning in at 2, and yet you're hearing us, who usually come on at 3. And perhaps we don't even sound that different from Frank Moore, who was on just before us. Nonetheless, in the intricate interlocking tumbrils and chambers of the brain, you will soon sort this tangle out, and then be prepared to zip down the information superhighway at excessive speeds, operating heavy farm machinery under the influence of drugs. This is just a brief introduction to our show, but
This is the
keep
monster in the dark.
tuned and more developments will occur.
Bishop Joey's with us. He looks like snot because he's ectoplasmic.
He's a heck of a mass of ectoplasm.
Tonight is the show about that monster box.
Just listen to those bubbling sounds of organic evolution occurring right as you listen.
And I'll have to say the phone number much more slowly tonight for our friends in Ontario.
I think you know that phone number.
Not now, though.
Not now. Yeah, there'd be no point in saying it now because
who cares?
Yeah, exactly. We'll say it in a while. In the fullness of time.
Mongolia. Well, no, actually.
Linoleum. Or Congolia.
And there's Germany, Holland,
Ruritania, Graustark,
Finland,
Sildavia.
Sildavia is here?
Sildavia, and of course Borduria and Fredonia.
We are some lucky guys.
Just to be able to see all this from up in God's heaven makes a man feel mighty tall.
I'm not sure why.
Well, if you don't lose your balance, it's a good view. We are used to it. Our mission in the church enables us to see from a high pinnacle of progress and success, although ours is also a high and lonely destiny. I think we've got some alarms going off in the control
room.
Caller
alert, so let's go away.
Yes, we aren't able to answer callers at this time. We will be giving out the number, however, as well as valuable prizes and premiums.
But we must go unroll the red carpet for our little friends arriving from the alien ships.
Exactly. They'll be disembarking soon.
He has no legs
coming
anymore.
through the port
He hasn't
authority.
actually walked on Earth for so long. Those legs have atrophied. He only uses his brain. He's like the little guy carried around by the zipperhead Martians.
He's totally dependent on his little fire engine red gravity
Bobbies
sled.
in rubber suits carry him around in balloon-infested underground walkways.
Dressed in rubber suits, didn't they look swell?
And he doesn't
thought
use a
they'd have him
computer.
on
His
the run.
monster brain simply thinks the thoughts quickly.
And 40 pairs of boots went marching through hell. And
Well, let's
I
not do
was
that
the
again.
kid with a drum.
Because you know anything you say on the radio happens.
Hey, don't you remember? You called me Hal. It was Hal, Hal, Hal all the time.
Last night's show.
Hey, don't you remember? I'm your pal. Brother, can you spare a dime? Spare a dime.
It was in the year of 1982 that spacemen first discovered the Great Galactic Barrier. In the past 10 years, rocket travel to the moon and the nearer planets had become commonplace. And yet, the explorers refused to admit defeat. It was on June the 2nd, 1987, that the rocket Star Cloud made ready for takeoff.
Now hear this. The SubGenius Hour of Slack.
Don't bother me for a while. I'm busy here. Stupid idiot. We'll have to reintegrate the whole works. Prepare to blast off. 4, 3, 0. Fire up number 1 cyclotron. Number 1 ready. Fire up number 2. Number 2 ready. I think that's rubbish. What do you think? Oh, I think it's terrible. At least it won't be boring.
At 4 in the morning, I know that there's quite a few subgeniuses awake, probably hardly anyone but subgeniuses. Now, you may be a latent subgenius. You may be feeling like you're just not ready for the word of Bob. Well, you don't have to worry about salesmen coming to your door. This can all be done by mail, even the operation. We're all doctors here. We know how to play our instruments
everything is
as well as we need to know.
Any doctor-patient relationship.
That's right. So any confessions you may have, over the air or not, will be strictly confidential and censored by us.
Remember, this is a listener-sponsored radio station.
Do you want to make heaven or not? Do you want to go through the rapture?
Do you want to call us?
Unscathed?
Do you want to go to the subcon? Do you want to go to the launching of the
Do you want to help KPFA?
Sit down. I was saying how's a workshop?
That's funny.
I laugh. Well, I'll tell you about it. Well, you see, when water begins to seep in the hole, you pull your cork pipe, then you let down a few inside the cork chop, and you plug up the bottom of the hole, casing and all, with quick hardening cork chops. Then when it's hard with cork chopping at the bottom, keeps the water out.
Funny about that water.
Well, we had the cork pipe all pulled and cracked, waiting for it to harden.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, you see, a cork pipe is hollow. And as the cork pipe digs down, it stuffs the cork chops up inside it, so when you pull it out, you got a sample of the cork chops.
Oughtn't to be any at that level, according to my figuring.
Oh, I don't know.
Where's everybody?
They all went to town on the whole pork chop.
Wait a minute, Porky.
Well, why did... Listen. What's eating you?
Doggone it, I hate to be a pork chop, but I can't help it.
Honest?
Stupid, ain't it?
I know how you feel, Billy. Everybody's made out of pork chops.
Yeah, I guess so. Yikes! And look at this.
And I did look. And what he was holding was a pork chop. And there wasn't any kidding about it. It was real.
We don't need to get into a lot of technical double talk.
But the question for tonight is cynicism a requirement, or is it a luxury, or is it a necessity?
An economic necessity in today's bustling world of global economic competition and low-price knockoffs of Chinese
Well, cynicism is a relative value. One man's cynicism is another man's joyous optimism.
That's any other ism, man.
Or could it?
It's like me-ism.
I remember that from back in the 70s.
I'm a Neanderthal.
The me generation and the you
back to the
generation.
basics.
Well,
the
Neanderthals
have a simple
Pepsi generation and the Neanderthal generation.
Actually,
a Greek restaurant
have the same credo as the dogs.
Yeah, and Cynics. It's a Greek restaurant.
A ghost meatball.
I'll have,
if you can't consume it,
scratch a what?
have intercourse with
Scratch
it.
an
And you
idealist
must
and find a
urinate on
cynic?
it.
Is that what you're
That's it.
saying, Phineas? Well,
Have
I
intercourse with a real
think that's a
live
somewhat
ghost.
cynical attitude.
Greek
expressing
ghost.
Do you have to?
Cynical ghost.
Okay, call back later. We need you to call back later. Put your retrieve button on hold.
Ghosts
Press
can be
option
cynical.
6. And
It
the
is
pound
quite
sign.
possible.
Now,
Ghosts can be nicey nice.
particularly when you palpate them.
You palpate their subluxations.
People just
This
meet
is that
here on
ghost
the show,
breathing.
and then they go off.
Breathing
Meat,
heavy ghost.
flesh, blood. Flesh and blood
Fun
is weak and
experiences, and off they
frail,
go.
But cookies are
susceptible to
strong.
nervous shock.
Now, Bob predicted that by
No,
this
Peppy,
time
you're not on the air.
a
We cut
ghost
you off a long time ago.
would be called as a witness in a court case.
When did that happen?
Well, it was supposed to have happened in the 90s, and I'm wondering if that, like so many
Well, if
things,
you were
Bob
on the air and
predicted,
you were
was
saying those
covered
words.
up.
Please, call me Bob. Please, call me Bob.
Your old boss, Bob. What the hell is going on?
Who really killed the cat? Why?
Please, call me Bob. Please, call me Bob.
He was dangerous? We thought he was just able to heal. Cellular regeneration. What we didn't know is that if your cells continually regenerate, after a while you stop growing old.
You, Bob, my dad. You, Bob, my dad. If you die, Bob, the company dies with you.
Please, call me Bob. Please, call me Bob. Please, call me Bob. Please, call me Bob.
Your old boss, Bob. What the hell is going on?
Somebody asked, what is in Bob's pipe? And I said, what's in Bob's pipe is the same thing as what's in his head, which is also what's in Bob's pills. But Reverend New Monet answered it much more correctly. Here's what's inside Bob's pipe and his head. The multiverse and antiverse, the negaverse, the demiverse, the quasiverse, the paraverse, the division by zero verse, the square root of -1 verse, the A-verse, roboverse, Hitlerverse, knockverse, gayverse, pooverse, also known as the universe, perverse, the quantum verses, Hooterverse, the claymation verse, the monster verse, anti-space, hyperspace, hypospace, overspace, underspace, through space, wormholes, beetle holes, black holes, buttholes, black whores, Patrazibby, Verschlungener, trace amounts of halva, and the Alamo.
But nothing is etched in brass. The SubGenius Church maintains a certain amount of mercurial fluidity.
When we come back in February, that's just to it's for the Bob Mitzvah, you might say, of my nephews-in-law who live here.
Those crazy kids.
13 for that as well? Or?
Wait, the Bob Mitzvah is a new concept as far as I know.
Can you explain?
Yeah. No, I can't.
Okay, well.
I honestly don't.
Choose not to? Or?
Yeah, it just jumped out.
Does Princess Wee have anything to do with that?
Well, it's her nephews.
I see.
And I think I'm supposed to circumcise them or something. Isn't that what happened?
Or circumscribe
Very
them.
nice.
I've got these special...
One or the other.
You could use this bottle opener right here.
That's puzzling evidence is
sit there.
Kid.
That's his flensing knife. He always leaves something behind.
Just sit. It'll pinch a little bit.
Special bris knife. That's great.
It comes in your tool man kit. It's really nice. Provided by Bob, I understand. He had many tools.
He used to sell those.
They are his tools. Yes, he has many tools, and he calls them his flock.
That's right.
You've seen those New Yorker cartoons where the guy opens his sample case on the street and puts down a bunch of little wind-up guys walking around. That is essentially what Bob's ministers are doing.
Wind you up, let them roll.
Yes, we are walking around demonstrating for Dobbs. And, of course, we are up for being purchased by the next bidder.
What's the latest bid been on some of the ministers of Bob?
Well, I don't know, but I have a strange superstition. I always bend over to pick up a penny. You've probably heard that many yuppies won't because they've calculated that their time is so valuable that to bend over and pick up a penny would be losing money. But I believe that if you find money in front of you, it's the fractal end, the tail of a possible fortune. So in order to grasp that, you have to pick it up. Depending on how much money you find, the more money you're going to get. And the other night, walking down to the show, I found a $20 bill on the sidewalk.
Did you
Picked it up and put it in my pocket.
Did you leave a few dollars for taxes?
Hell no, my friend.
The important thing, of course, is to pause and look to see if there are any more $20 bills leading in a trail to a dark alley where there's a dead bank robber with a torn open sack of $20 bills. That's what the true SubGenius looks to see, if there are more $20 bills perhaps raining from the sky. You just never know, you know.
I always make a point.
Some people go, "Oh boy, $20! I'm going to run to the bar right now." Running right past the passed out bank robber and with his big sack of money.
Well, that's not surfing the luck plane.
No, you have to. Don't be rash. Don't rush off to spend that stolen or found money. Look around and see if there's not some cataclysmic event that produced more $20 bills. Same thing happened to me about a year ago. I encountered that $20 bill. That's like bait that Bob uses to lead us further along.
Well, usually you find pennies, a nickel, a dime, or a quarter, but a dollar is unusual, and $20 is very unusual. But every time I've ever picked up anything of a large denomination, a good job or something has come following.
I had to say, if we took September 11 out of...
Speaking of which, I lost a $20 bill here in San Francisco just recently. So if any listeners happen upon a $20 bill anywhere in the city or in Oakland, Martinez, call the station and return the 20 to me, because I'm the one who lost it.
I find sunglasses everywhere.
Conversely, should you not pick up disgusting things like used condoms and syringes? Does that lead to bad luck?
Well, if you pick them up, you would be picking up the fractal end of a train of used syringes and condoms, where somebody else already had the fun and you were picking it up. So I wouldn't do it personally.
I'm going to stop today.
But you see, The problem is if you search too assiduously for more slack when there's only a little bit, that can start subtracting slack. It crosses over the line into neurotic behavior. Once, while walking by a Mexican beauty parlor near my apartment, I saw a $20 bill in the gutter. And of course I picked it up, but ever since then I have been physically unable to pass that gutter without looking, without stopping. So that is somewhat neurotic, and yet what are you going to do? Because whoever is foolish enough to drop that money one time, who habituates that area, well, he might come back and drop another one. So it's logical to look there, but
keep going to that same place. I once found a $500 in cash in a grocery cart.
Holy cow, that's better than I've ever done.
And there was no wallet, there was no anything. I took it in my hand and I said, "Does this belong to anybody?"
I can top you.
Nobody responded.
I can top you.
What was yours, Lloyd?
Top me, Lloyd.
$2,000 wrapped up in the banker thing.
The little wrap.
The
Jeez.
paper wrapper, middle of the street. I screeched to a stop. I dove on it. I dove back in my car, squealed away, and that's how Cookie Mongoloid went to Japan last year.
So you didn't have to be in the paper as one of those chuckleheads who finds a ton of money that fell off an armored truck and then returned it because he was so honest.
That's the way a lot of action movies start. Scene like that, finding the thousands of dollars in
yes, that's the problem.
A few months later, Cookie Mongoloid was walking through the streets of Tokyo.
When you find that large jumbo mayonnaise jar full of cocaine or that suitcase full of money, often somebody else is looking for it. So you do have to take that into consideration. I guess the best I ever did in this regard was once I went to a Burning Man Heat the Street fair, and I noticed there was a 20 lying on the grass near my shoes, and then there was a whole bunch of them spread out, which I picked up. A little bit more than $100, though. I never found $2,000. That would be exceptionally favored.
I'd feel
But
like
don't tell anyone. I convinced everyone that I went to Japan on my own hard sweat and labor, and the labor of my blistered hands.
As you did. Of course, this is all metaphorical language, not to be taken literally or seriously.
But if anybody finds $2,000 laying around in town during the next few years, I did lose a big bunch of money. So
never saw it.
SubGenius.com if you find it. If you want to be honest, if you want to be able to live with yourself, if you find that money or if you inherit that money even.
What title would that grant me in the SubGenius Church?
Supreme Sucker. Bob's favorite.
Like a remora.
That's
now
kind of nice.
A veritable Linda Lovelace of
back
the
in the
church.
studio. We are all together now.
Puzzling Evidence is back. Yes, friends, Puzzling Evidence, the host of that wild and wacky show, the Puzzling Evidence Show at KBFA.
Don't want my name in the Hall of Fame. I just want a big fat pile of money. Give me that almighty dollar for that let us hear me holler. Give me buckets for the ducats, let me walk around and waller. In Mazuma, El Dinero, wanna be a millionaire. Give me money, 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 money.
And send it to
Post Office Box 181-417, Cleveland Heights, Ohio 44118. That's Post Office Box 181-417, Cleveland Heights, Ohio 44118. Thank you. Praise God.
Get me a suit that's made out of loot.
Fools of radio, we can say all the dirty words we want and ask for money without being cashiered by the authorities.
Want that golden touch. That's what I mean.
He's Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, and he's changing out the haircuts in all the barber shops. He's Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, and he knows what he likes. He doesn't like his women to wear a dirty socks, because it doesn't make for a very cleanly flock. He's Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, and he knows what he likes. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, changing out the haircuts in all the barber shops, keeping a 50s style alive. But all the other stuff has to go. There was a little barber who lived down the way. He wanted to give a mohawk to make a bit more pay. But when he gave the haircut to Javi Mash Kamash, he had his permit revoked and his shop was smashed. His arms chopped off and all because of Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. And he knows what he likes. He's Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. And he doesn't want you to pluck all the eyebrows out, and he wants you to keep them growing all out. He's a very, very, very strict man, and he is the president of Iran. He wants you to keep up to the rules of Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. He does what he likes. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. He's changing all the haircuts in all the barbershops. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. And he knows what he likes. He doesn't like a Pepsi, he doesn't like the Coke. You only have Nebraska or a root beer float, but it has to be under a Iranian flag to get into Hununi Sag. Now in Arabic, Mashkamach Menmash. In the Makmach and the Machiv and Alving Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. And he knows what he likes, and he knows what he doesn't like, and he doesn't like this song. And if you sing the song in this country, he will have to come and get you and kill you over again. He's Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, and he's a very nice man.
That cute song, friends, was by the Cosmiks, about whom you may learn more at www.thecosmiks.com. And Cosmiks is spelled funny. That's COSMIKS. Thecosmiks.com. Before that, 8 minutes of a 4-hour session or season in hell. John Hell's show on Pirate Cat Radio with Dr. Howell, K. Rob, and Puzzling Evidence, and Lloyd Mongoloid, with whom we did a big devotional devival in San Francisco. And you can hear Pirate Cat Radio in San Francisco at 87.9 FM or piratecatradio.com. What's in Bob's head? That research we heard was by New Monet, read off by yours truly, Reverend Ivan Stang, at a book signing at the good Atomic Books in Baltimore. The Bob collages in this show were by Norel Preff, and the Hour of Slack pork chops were by Fernandinande Lemur. This background music is from Speed Cave of speedcave.com. And now stay tuned for important preaching from yours truly, Reverend Ivan Stang, and from Priestess Bisace. Do you hear me, little bobbies?
You tell us what to do and we'll follow orders.
The SubGenius Hour of Slack.
Sure thing. It'll be a pleasure.
A pleasure?
Yeah.
Well, I guess so. But I'm going to make up for it. Good.
So now some of you are hipsters and art bums, and you're going, oh, well, luckily for me, I don't work for the conspiracy. I'm free of it. I can forget about the conspiracy. But they never forget about you, my friends. No, sir, they've got your name and number. You may even think they don't, and yet, believe me, they do. Because here's the worst part of the conspiracy. It's not really us versus them. It's really just us. The conspiracy is that ugly thing inside you that makes you be shitty for no reason, or lazy at the wrong times, or overactive at the right. It's just what fucks everything up. And the first step in not being a dumbass is to admit that you're a dumbass. Hence the church of the goddamn SubGenius. We actually don't know everything. But we do know that we haven't been getting enough slack. Slack is what we want, and slack is what we're going to get. And the great thing about it is, it's free. It really is something for nothing. As that robot said on the SubGenius chat line, slack will get you through times of no slack. It's that simple. SubGeniuses are what we call self-amusing personalities. They are not easily bored, because even if they're stuck in a jail cell with nothing to look at but their hand, they'll figure out a whole story to go behind the lines in their goddamn hands. And when they get out of jail, they make a fortune as a fortune teller. I just came up with that one. That's kind of a good line. The important thing, though, friends, is that Bob Dobbs, sure, he's your personal savior tonight, but he created the beautiful concept of the short duration personal savior, or shorter per sad. We live in a society full of planned obsolescence. Every computer you buy is programmed to break down the day after the warranty runs out. Same with Bob. Sooner or later, and believe me, I've been doing this 26 years. I've seen it happen a million times. Sooner or later, as much as you may love Bob tonight, and as bobbed up as you might turn into one of those, what we call bobbies. The poor subgeniuses who just chant Bob Slack all day long. Hey, nothing wrong with that. I did that for my first 5 years in Dogstown. That's how I got my job. But ultimately, you're going to get tired of it and want to move away. You'll find some other short-duration personal savior. It might be your loved one, if you happen to be lucky enough to find such a thing, a true Yeti mate. It might just be your favorite TV show, or your favorite comic book, or porno star. It could be anything. It could be the bubble gum you're chewing right at this moment. You know, one thing Bob advised was don't just eat, for instance. Don't just eat that hamburger. Eat the hell out of it! And friends, you know, it's a quest for the perfect hamburger. We've said that many times. I'm going to let you all in on a secret. Every hamburger was the perfect hamburger, if you eat the hell out of it. That's kind of a Zen thing, you know? It makes you think. Don't do it! Don't do it, friends. You don't use your mind to think about your religion. That just clutters it all up. It didn't make any sense. No religion makes sense. Wouldn't be worth a hoot if it made sense. Friends, it's Slack. That's the great thing about Slack. It doesn't have to make sense. Who are you trying to impress anyway?
If you don't want to drink that dude's lighter fluid, I would recommend you head to the back and get yourself something to drink. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Priestess Pisces. You've seen me up here earlier tonight, and I have a little tale to tell you.
Yeah, tell us!
Stang went through SubGenius 101 and told you the basics of being a subgenius, and I'm actually going to share with you church secrets.
Yes!
I'm going to describe to you the stages of being a subgenius. There are several.
Puberty.
The first stage of being a subgenius is the meh stage, which is meh. Why should I send $30 to some smiling dude with a pipe? Why do I want to do that? That's $30. You know what I could get for $30?
Half a day.
The second stage is the jump. In the jump stage, you say, you know what? Why not send some smiling guy in a pipe $30? What the hell? The next phase, my friends, is the Bobby phase.
I'm Bobby.
The Bobby phase kind of goes like this. You go to your first X day, and you've been listening to Hour of Slack, and you've been watching the DVDs, and you've bought CDs, and you've gone to the website, you've hung out in the chat room, and you've been on Slack, and you have a hero.
I've done that twice.
And there's this subgenius hero you have, and they're on stage, and oh my God, you get to see them in person and live, and it's the most awesome thing ever. And you're like, wow, I got to see them. They're real. They're in person. This is so real and profound. And so as they get off the stage after their rant and they walk down the steps and they're walking away, you say, hi. I have every single one of your hours, every single one of the Hour of Slacks you've been on. I have every single DVD that you're on. I have the recordings of what you did last X Day. I have a little bit of everything you've ever done. And I just wanted to know if you wanted to come to my camp. I have some Budweiser, and we're 2 roads back. There's a lot of mosquitoes, but I have bug spray, and we're gonna play some D&D. Do you want to come?
Yes, Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, you're busy? Oh, you're going to Doc Crop's camp?
Fuck him.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, if you want to, you can come by later. I'll be there all night. Oh, you don't think you'll have time? Okay.
Oh no.
All right. Well, I'll see you around then. And you go home from X Day and you're disappointed and you're heartbroken because your hero turned you down. And you think about it and you're like, you know what? They looked at me like I had a third horn coming out of my head. They looked at me like I was some freak. I'm not a freak. You know what? They're just elitists. They're in the hierarchy. They're elitists, and they're just stuck up. And you know what? Screw them. You know what? They're just hussies and dopeheads and hippies and kooks and forget them, man. Because I'm special and damn it, I'm important and screw them. And you spend a year soaking in this hate. And you go on Usenet and you post about how your ex-hero is just nothing but a kook and a quack, and your ex-hero is nothing of import. And you know what? You have a bottle of scotch that's worth more than this dude. You know what? He is nothing. He is worth nothing. He is nothing, and he's a hack, and he can't play music, and he can't rant. He's horrible. And damn it, you know what? You can do better. Damn it, you can. You'll show him because you're going to go to X Day and you're going to get on stage and you're going to rant and you're going to show him that elitist hierarchy bastard. You're going to show him that you're better than he is because you're going to get up and rant. And you do. And you go to X Day and you get on stage and you rant your heart out with all that hate that you feel for that bastard who screwed you over, who looked at you like you were the lowest of the low. And everyone loves it.
I love it.
And you're redeemed. And everyone's excited about it. And they come up to you and say, wow, that was a great rant. What's your name? Who are you? Wow, that was fabulous. And Stang puts you on Hour of Slack. And people are exchanging copies of your rants on Usenet. And you're on the top of the world. And then so you're like, well, okay, I'll do it again next X Day. And next X Day comes. And you ran again. And it's great, and everyone claps. And as you walk off the stage, this kid comes up to you. And he's staring at you. And he's almost drooling on himself. And he's shaking. And he says, dude, I have every hour of Slack that you're on. I bought every DVD that you were on. I've got the DVD of last X Day. Your stuff is the best ever. Oh my God, you're so great. We're camped about 2 roads back, and yeah, there's some mosquitoes, but we've got bug spray, and I've got some Budweiser, and we're gonna play D&D. And you say, well, really, I appreciate the offer and everything, but I'm going to Doc Crop's camp, and then after that, I'll be sort of milling around with some friends I haven't seen in a while, and I just don't think I'll make it all the way to the other end of the campground to see you, and I'm really sorry, but it was nice meeting you. And you scurry away because that guy is really creepy. And then you go home and you look on alt Slack and there's these people saying these horrible things about you. They're talking about how you're elitist and you're stuck up and they're calling you a slut and a hussy and they're awful and mean to you, and then you realize you're a member of the hierarchy.
Bob speaketh through me.
Yeah.
Where
have we heard that one before?
A common delusion.
That are just falling down.
And couldn't get up.
At the mouth. Do you feel foaming at the mouth?
Bob is
sure, whatever. We're
fomenting hoof and mouth
All you
disease.
can hear is just like the word Bob reverberating in your head.
The word Bob and the word Bob and only the word Bob.
And the weird Bob resonating in your head.
Kill the people in Omaha?
Philo is showing me the listeners on the internet. I can see this map of the planet.
Yeah, go to Hybrid.
That shows all 7 listeners
Look
to the
how
show.
grotesque they are. They scarcely look like human beings.
There's Shining Path of Least Resistance.
I am
there's
Val.
Lili Jing in the middle of
Shining
Mongolia.
Path, send me your email
no,
so I can
I'm
come
a,
visit you in Osaka.
There's some poor devil in Iraq.
I believe that is the devil.
And if you go to Hybrid, you can go right down to their house and see which
Pope
end of the
Black
house the
and
radio
Deutschland
connection comes
Yes,
in.
I guess he could
On
never
Google
tell
Earth.
again.
But there are more doctors than listeners, face it.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that's always been true in SubGenius.
From the Constantinople.
Well, no, that's how we liberate the audience, man. That's like we'd start off on stage with our doctor music, then we'd relinquish our instruments to the audience, and that was the way we were cool. But now there's this global coolness deficit.
Except in Antarctica.
And there's the global coolness is diminishing.
In Antarctica, especially.
Well, they're still cool there.
There's coolness in Antarctica.
Yeah, there's still some cool people there.
Yeah, the laptop
it's
dance
pretty
is
cold
really
there.
cool.
Man, if we don't do something about global coolness, there's just not going to be any coolness left.
Right.
It's going to be a totally uncool, globally uncool world.
Well, just don't lose your coolness,
Man, I mean, dude.
What?
Dude.
Teed.
Don't call me dude.
Yeah, I mean, Teed.
Bob speaketh.
It's not cool, Teed.
We have a methane crisis
It's
right now.
majorly
Bob
bumstacious.
also speaketh through
It's Bud Hain, Teed.
Bob speaketh through small crevices and crannies in walls between grandpas and grannies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, can you do that?
Oh, anyway, then all of a sudden he's moving now. All of a sudden.
Okay, I just moved it.
Yep, and now it's all different again.
Now Dr.
it
Drummond
makes me so
can
hungry to hear this
operate that mind control machine while
That's what I wanted to
blithering.
do was.
He's
control
been
more
sitting
minds
on the
here
computer
before the show goes
spying
away.
on the listeners using Google Earth.
Yeah,
the internet listeners.
Yeah, we have
Drummond's
exactly
loyalty.
7 of them, and they're equally spread across the globe.
He was
actually a lot more than 7.
Yeah,
he was looking
those are
on
just the little
down
places downloading
the
the show.
chute of
Probably
the
about
back
40 of
porch
them.
chimney of one of the
That's
listeners.
not
Where was
representative
that?
of the actual
Philo,
listeners
where was that you were
across
just
northern
looking?
and
You were
central
saying that
California.
they were in the
Looking
back
at
of
a
the house.
listener
Anywhere
in
except
New
Santa
York.
Cruz.
Listener in New York, you were in the back of
I'm
your
gonna
house,
zoom
according to
down
Google Earth.
Onto
Hey,
Google
what time
Earth.
is
I think that's where the
From
Spying
connection
on
comes
us
in.
and,
It's
and
not where the
avoiding the rest of your
It's
family.
not where the
New York
target. I mean, the listener is. It's where the
Going
connection comes into the house.
down.
So be careful about the thermal
Listener-
sighting.
That's
Oh, I
pretty-
see.
Go to the IFROP.
Yeah, switch it over to
IFROP?
the.
Yeah,
to
I want to go to the IFROP and
thermal.
have some frog
I
cakes.
frop, you frop,
The
he,
thermal
listener is
view.
actually
Oh, the
off
boiled
of Eastern
prop?
Parkway and Kingston Avenue
Okay.
in
Philo's
New York City,
chasing
near
all
the
listeners
thoracic
around.
I want
hospital.
chicken fried frop.
You know,
Thoracic Park.
it's. Have you ever
Scrambled
done a lot of
eggs, that's
SubGenius stalking on the internet?
Yes, I do a
puzzling
lot
evidence?
of SubGenius stalk.
Why, it goes on all the
Very
time.
safe way to stalk.
Yeah, you can stalk from afar.
Yeah, but the SubGenius stalking market is always going down.
Legal problems.
And since
Like me, I'm
Google Earth
stalking
has
this
done
listener
that
now.
detailed treatment of San Francisco, I've been able to stalk you guys.
I'm stalking this listener right now.
There was
See?
a shot. If you type in
help
Dr.
me stalk
Howell's
the listener?
address, you can be looking right at his front door. And I did that once.
And he was
and
standing
he had
there.
just walked. He had just walked
I
in
did it once.
to his
Coincidence
house.
or
Picking his nose
conspiracy?
on
There
the
was
front
like a
porch.
thermal ghost image of Dr. Howell going into the door.
Because they told
There's that
my
word
ghost
again.
when
Lettering
the
by
coast
Becky
was
Wilson.
clear.
Right now, I'm zooming in on this listener, and I can see the back
Didn't
of their
Becky
house.
Wilson marry Ted
I'm
Schultz?
afraid to tell
That's
you,
correct.
Not the house.
That's as close as I can get.
I
He
can
became
remember things
a
from
formidable
the
insect
ancient day.
specialist.
I just
Becky
can't
Wilson.
remember anything from yesterday.
Becky Wilson married Ted Schultz.
But you
That's
know,
quite
the
true.
mind plays strange
Look at those
tricks.
houses.
I'm
You
sure
can-
you thought
some-
you saw.
sometimes-
Say you said you saw.
The supposedly paranoid person feels they're being watched somehow, as if by
I
some
bet you it's
eye
in
in
the
the
back of
sky.
their house
And
again.
yet, in fact, Dr. Philo Drummond
No, it's in their
is
front yard.
watching you right now
This
through
listener's
satellite
listening in his
views
front
of
yard.
Gargle Earth.
I know, maybe that's the
If you've ever
backyard.
felt that vast
They're out
and
in the
cool
backyard with the
intelligences
transistor radio
remote
listening
from
to
yours,
the show.
we're studying you from miles away.
It's not that vast nor that
Hey, I'll
cool,
show
but it
you
is a
something.
form of intelligence known as Dr. Philo Drummond, stalking you, the listener.
Here's what I
Yes,
did.
just as
In
you
his
listen to
stalking
us,
feet.
we can see you through
Since
the
price of
Google Earth
interplanetary
spy
travel has gone
eye.
up,
But
I've
can
spent
you
little time
see?
with the church.
You can look through Google Earth.
And if you
And
felt
at the
secure
station.
before, you will never feel secure again. We are watching you.
And the camera
And
can
we'll be
see
watching
down
you for
to
the
your
next
underwear
several
And we're going to
level.
report on everything you do.
But can't they see us by the same token?
No,
Yeah,
just
here's
your
what they
underwear.
see. They see us 25 years ago. We're young and free and jumping around like crazy.
Okay, now I went to Google.
We were never
Listen to those
that young.
crowds scream.
I've
That's what
seen
they
those
all say.
pictures, and they've all been fake. We were not that young. Somebody got into my archives and cleverly replaced all my old photos with photos of handsome young actors playing us.
It's a hard day's night of the living dead.
I've seen those pictures, and those are not us. I was there, and I don't remember that.
That's how it goes. If you remember it, then I wasn't you.
It was like that band, The Monkees. It was completely faked. Our entire past histories were fake.
Now I don't know if
I don't know how it
all our
escaped from us
listeners
for
need
so
to
long.
hear our
This
personal
show
private...
always has a reputation for exposing the real secrets of the various churches, and that's one of them, folks. We don't exist. You're listening to nothing.
We never did exist. We've kidded ourselves on that score. We never were anything but recordings.
You're
and a bunch
really
of old
harshing my
tapes.
mellow, man.
We still are.
And
But we're good recordings.
But imagine our shot to find out all of the photos were completely faked, and in fact, even the radio and audio recordings were fake.
Yeah, but we
they were
don't
from
owe
that
any money.
database.
We've never had a DMV record.
Look,
All
you
of
can
that
see the
stuff.
oil spill out there.
I had the DTs, I'll admit it, but I'm fine now.
You can see the people on the bottom of the ocean out here.
Yes, it's not a pleasant sight.
You can. I was able to find where Skull Island used
Those
to be.
are pearls
on
that were his
Google Earth.
eyes.
You.
Southwest of Sumatra.
Really?
Yes, if you can see
So I
the
can
latitude and
search
longitude
Skull Island
in
here.
that shot where Denham shows the map. Did you notice that?
Yeah,
They
and
show
you can,
it in
and
the
you
lower
can go
right-hand
there on
corner.
Google Earth and see
I'm
the
going there
spot
right
where
now. I'm going to Skull Island.
Skull Island sank beneath there. There it
And I
is.
swear, if
I'm on
there's
Skull
nobody
Island
listening
right
to the
now.
show, I'm sinking Skull
Philo
Philo
Island.
is looking at something labeled Skull Island, but Skull
Northern
Island, as we know,
Territory,
sank in
Australia.
the 40s.
Well, I thought that was propaganda.
Skull Island, Northern
It's the
Territory.
war.
They
Australia.
said that so nobody would go there and disturb its delicate ecosystem.
Dang.
Wow,
Okay, thanks.
cool.
See, that one mic is
That is
really
so
bad.
cool.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
So there's a Skull
gonna
Island
zoom
site.
down
You
on
can go
Skull
there
Island.
and
Yeah, in Northern Territory, Australia.
I'm sorry, but we don't have imagery at this zoom level for this region. Try zooming out for a broader look.
Maybe we can just have a moment of silence for the
I'm
fact
looking
that
at
we
some
can't see
broads,
that.
eh?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
looking at broads now.
Just got an
all right,
explanation
all
on
right.
how that...
Boys, please. So what would fighting Father O'Donovan think?
Wow, that looks good.
It's a...
Time for a nooner.
Look, we're right near Watson Island
Nino,
and the North
Nino.
Island.
is that like a river?
Yes,
You know,
my silence
Darwin
runs like
found
a
8
river.
separate species
Your
of
silence is what?
grebes here,
It runs like a river.
putting together the puzzle
Through the gullies
of
and gutters
evolution.
of Haldom.
Amazing. I don't need
This was the
That's what that
voyage
is.
of the Schnauzer.
Sergeant Ernie Schnauzer.
to the mix. What a
Top of the morning to you.
premise.
And young Chucko.
And Lieutenant Morphodite.
And they're great, buddy. God.
On
God
thy
is
belly
so
shalt thou go.
Yes, God is the Mo of the universe.
I
But here on the
sometimes
show-
feel like a moe in a
The
sea of
sun's
curlies.
always shining. The flowers are always growing.
But most
Lone
subgeniuses
wren in
are
this
Larrys.
Ocean of Stimpies.
Because this is, what? A religion.
There it is.
And
Look,
everything's fine.
I'm still
I'm
coming
fine.
up from
Are you
Northern-
fine?
Oh, I'm
from,
fine.
Skull
I think-
Island.
I am fine.
Yes, are
I'm
you fine?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yes,
I'm
we're
okay.
just
You're okay.
merely
You thought
exerting our
Skull Island was
God-given right
sunk,
to
and that's just
perpetrating
that's just
illicit
what you
rumors and
Don't
false
grin
trends.
at your God-given right to perpetrate rumors and false.
It's my God-given right to lie on the air.
You lie like a
This-
lumpy
these
low.
photographs, what do these mean?
Pornographs? Oh, let me see those.
It's my God-given right to kill your family and take their money and jewelry.
All in good time, my boy.
It's within,
Do it
it's
with a
within my
smile.
slack.
We must
if I want to
roister down the road
kill
of
somebody,
life.
that would be within my slack, right, Bob?
Just his way.
It's your God-given right to
It's
be
within
an
my
oyster.
slack. Yes, you can lie on the air. Once you learn Slack levitation, you can rise above it all effortlessly while laying prone and snoring poetically with your eyes closed. So, wake up and join the Church of the SubGenius, if you care and dare. That's SubGenius.com on the wet or on the dry. Post Office Box 181417, Cleveland Heights, Ohio 44118. And now, thanks to Dr. Sinister's show, I'm going to go away.
Reverend Singh, I had one question for you before you go about the Hour of Slack.
Yes, the Hour of Slack, yes.
Yeah, last week it was show 1,000 and something, and this week it was show 1,100 and something.
Oh, on WCSB, they're played all out of order for special, difficult to explain reasons. Mainly because we'll suddenly do a live show in the midst of a whole bunch of recorded shows, and the numbering seems odd in WCSB land. But the other stations which are not lucky enough to have it produced right there in their studios, they generally probably play them in order, and they appear on the internet in ordure, framed in a sort of a frame of ordure.
Red mahogany.
On SubGenius.com.
Okay, thank you for cleaning that up.
In fact, you can hear what we're saying right now all over again on WCSB.org.
.org. But you can't in
.org.
Cebu, Samoa, Fiji, or Saipan.
I can't believe we've still got... Actually, no, I take that back. I thought we had 35 listeners, but most of them were all the same IP address.
Oh. Now, at the KPFA station, they can look at a Google Earth map that has a little pinpoint icon showing where each of their internet listeners are.
Well, it shows where they're. It shows where
on them from above through Google Earth.
Well, it only shows where the server is located, their ISP is
right,
located.
We wasted a couple of missiles before somebody told me that.
Yeah.
They went, man, the guy's probably not even in the back. That's
sometimes
the back of the
it's not even in the same
phone
city.
Line comes in.
Sometimes it's not even in the same city.
Never actually blamed the missile company where the fault really lied.
Yeah, they can watch their listeners from Google satellites with the thermal vision. They can see right through the roof.
Nice.
And
if you're
with
unlucky
the right kind of digital radios, we can hear the listeners if they had anything to say.
The dangerous.
But if they red dot your house too much, it means your microwaves, probably your more expensive brain control equipment is not going to work, especially during the summertime or in the approaching holidays.
That's why I don't have cable TV or any TV. I don't let the television in my house because it doesn't matter if they're watching you; it's whether you're watching it.
Yeah, you can't have any coax nearby, or else you're viewed.
Right, it's bad enough that we're listening to the radio.
But this is radio we make for ourselves by calling in to 216 North South East Investigations 5 and contributing to the conversation.
It gave me an ear infection.
Oh yeah, hey, that's better than some of the infections I've given some listeners just over the airwaves.
Well, maybe Stang actually did also get one of those little red slips explaining what to do and who you have to speak to if you find a used condom in your ear canal.
The Black Museum, a repository. The Black Museum. Not very pretty to look at. Here we are. A bathtub. Yes, a bathtub. It's ugly.
You got everything straight, Rod?
Yeah.
All set. Let's go. Here we go. Rod, let's do it. Right.
No! And Detective Sergeant Wood.
Not very much of anything, have we, Sergeant? Yes, well, let's hear it, Wilson. How do you do, Wilson? Sit down. Yes, well, let's hear it, Wilson. Yes, go on, Wilson. You're certain of this, Wilson? Oh, yes, sir. Oh, very good, Wilson.
Up and down, in and out.
Oh, Pop might know something, Inspector.
You, Pop, that's me.
Who are you? Sergeant Wood. Yes?
Every nook and cranny is inspected.
It may be interesting, if nothing else. Maybe, maybe not.
I don't remember. 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 Sergeant Wood.
Another pint of ale, please.
Oh, well, so it goes, I always say.
Another couple of pints, please, miss.
I don't know nobody.
I don't know nothing. You'll get off easily.
I never did. They can't say it. They can't.
But they do. We don't have to believe anything.
You gotta.
Post-war disease of violence. And now, until we meet next time in the same place.
Uh-huh.